There are some people in the paddock who feel that Lewis Hamilton's practice start violations wasn't something that was immediately obvious, and that the FIA might have had help from some rival teams before they came to know about the infractions. Mercedes chief race engineer Andrew Shovlin has now given his thoughts on this. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, did rival teams tip the FIA of Lewis's practice start violations? Shovlin started off by explaining why Lewis carried out his practice starts in the undesignated area. Lewis asked if he could go a bit further along the pit exit. We hadn't realised quite how far he was going to go, but it's really just trying to find a bit of tarmac that is more like the one you are going to get when you do a proper race start. He then pointed out how the designated area for practice starts aren't consistently represented across different tracks. Some places there's a box that they paint on the floor and you've got to do it in the box, other places it's kind of a general area. He then elaborated on how they still thought that they were in a grey area of the event notes at Sochi. We didn't think it was dangerous, and given that the event note said that it was on the right hand side after the pit exit, we thought it might have been ambiguous enough that we would have... we saw the car position, it wasn't a complete surprise that they didn't like it. He signed off his words by looking at how the FIA might have come to know of the two violations. No doubt, there may have been teams who flagged it as much as whether the FIA or the stewards spotted it themselves. I don't know. Fast feed. Former Bridgestone tyre expert Kees van der Grint feels that if you want a different line than Bernie Ecclestone used to take, then future F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali is the ideal man. Former F1 driver Stoffel Vandoorne feels that Red Bull's Max Verstappen needed the podium at Sochi after the last two failures, and that it's great to be able to split the Mercedes drivers. Former F1 driver Jan Lammers finds all these punishments ridiculous and feels that it's such a childish approach, like when you don't do your homework. McLaren team principal Andreas Seidel pointed out that it was a very disappointing Sunday afternoon for them coming away from Russia with 0 points. He also explained that their race was pretty much over after 2 corners, with Carlos running into the barriers and then Lando having to take avoiding action, finishing up at the back of the field. Racing Point's Sergio Perez is looking forward to now have the upgrades on his car coming in Germany. Hopefully it can get even better than the P4 finish in Russia. And Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff thinks that Lewis Hamilton pushes it aside a little bit because he would never have dreamt of achieving 91 wins. He would have never dreamt of having a similar career like Michael Schumacher. Is Stefano Domenicali the right man to take over F1 as CEO? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.